Hey, what's going on, guys? Alex here with TFL Bike, and sitting right next to me,
Kase.
And today we have some pretty exciting news to bring you because we have all the details on a new bike that Triumph has been teasing for a couple of weeks now across all their social platforms. It's the new Speed Triple 1200 RR.
Yeah, the Speed Triple 1200 RR is exciting because, at least visually and also in terms of its components, it's much cooler than the Speed Triple RS. And that's a bike that Alex and I have had a chance to go see in person. Also a really cool motorcycle, but this one is considerably better.
Yeah, we actually did a video on that RS, so if you want to check that bike out, wait till the end of this video, but then go check it out. But for now, let's jump into what this new RR is, and I guess we'll just start off with the design because it's a really cool concept. So a lot of manufacturers have been taking their sport bikes and kind of making them more street friendly. Triumph here has kind of gone the opposite direction. They've taken their Speed Triple, slapped a fairing on the front, made the riding triangle a little more aggressive, and now you've got a bike that's kind of somewhere between a naked sport bike, a cafe racer, and a fully faired sport bike. You do have a fairing on the front, but not on the sides. It looks wicked cool.
Yeah, I think the styling department is the biggest improvement of the RR over the RS, because that cafe style front fairing with the round headlight is very classic looking. It's very sleek. They did a good job of making it look modern. It's not trying too hard to be retro. And I like that a lot better than the headlight setup on the Speed Triple RS, which sticks out a lot. It's kind of bug-eyed. It's definitely not my style. This, I think, is really cool. But the rest of the bike behind that cafe-style front fairing still looks very modern and very sport bike-like. So it's not a super retro bike, but that front fairing.
It looks pretty cool. Let's dive into the engine real quick because it's really not all that different from the RS. So you're looking at a 1,160cc inline 3-cylinder that makes 177 horsepower. Peak power there is at 10,750 RPM, so definitely a very aggressive and sport-focused machine. Makes 92 foot-pounds of torque, and all those specs are exactly what you would find on the new RS that was announced a couple months ago.
Yeah, which makes sense because, I mean, the powertrain and everything that's in the Speed Triple RS is already pretty damn rowdy, so you don't have to go a whole lot up from there.
Yeah, they kind of made waves in the motorcycle world when that bike first came out. 177 horsepower out of a bike, in the RS at least, that shaved 22 pounds off of its weight when compared to the old model. It was a big deal, and you're getting the same amount of power in this new RR model, so great to see. It should be a blast out on the track, as you can see as they're marketing it, but also should be a pretty good ripper on the street too.
Yeah, and speaking of weight, the new Speed Triple RR weighs in at 439 pounds wet, and the RS weighed in at 437, so it's around about the same weight. But something that makes these two bikes different, the RR and the RS, is that the new Speed Triple RR has Öhlins electronically adjustable semi-active suspension, and according to Triumph, this is the best suspension that they can get from Öhlins.
Yeah, so the RS still has Öhlins suspension components, but like Kase said, this is fully electronically adjustable, and it's just super premium. The best suspension setup that Öhlins makes, and yeah, you should be able to really dial that suspension in. Good suspension makes a motorcycle, and it's good to see you're not going to have to do any work to this when you get it from the factory.
Man, it sounds like you've really dialed in your pronunciation of Öhlins.
Öhlins. I don't know if I'm saying that right. You can correct me down below.
We don't care that much. For brakes, we've got Brembo Stilema. Also don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Brembo Stilema dual discs in the front, two 320 millimeter discs, and you've also got an adjustable brake lever. And then for tires, you have Pirelli Diablo Supercorsa SPV3 tires, and that long ass name only means something to Alex. I don't know what that is.
That's about as aggressive of a tire you can get on a bike like this and still keep it street legal, still keep it a DOT tire. So super sticky.
You've also got a decent amount of tech on this new bike, no surprise there. You've got a 5-inch TFT display, you've got cornering ABS, and that cornering ABS is set up to be good on the track, so it's not doing too much intervention, not more than you would want. You've also got switchable cornering traction control, And even more, you've got 5 riding modes as well.
Yeah, so the 5 riding modes are going to be road, rain, sport, track, and then a custom mode. And like, every other manufacturer is doing right now, you pick one of those modes and it will basically adjust the traction control, the ABS, the throttle map. It will change all of that for you, and then you go into a different mode and all the parameters reset to something else. And then, of course, you can have a lot more customizability in that custom rider mode, where you can specifically dial in what you want the ABS set to, the traction control, and all those parameters individually.
A few more tech features. You've got up and down quick shift. You've also got wheelie control. You have a lap timer. And then, of course, you can also connect to My Triumph connectivity, which lets you hook up your phone. You can do phone calls, music, navigation, all those goodies that you get when you can link your device. Now, there's some more new components on the Speed Triple RR. You have a few carbon pieces. So you've got some carbon on the tank, you've got carbon on the side panels, on the fairing, and also on the mudguard. And another piece about the front end of this bike is you have clip-on handlebars. They're 135 millimeters lower than the bars on the Speed Triple RS, and they're also 50 millimeters further forward. So like Alex mentioned earlier, your rider triangle is going to be more aggressive riding position.
Yeah, and that'll just make it easier to tip this bike into corners. It's got the same chassis and the same motor and everything as the RS, but just based on where the foot pegs are placed and where the bars are placed, it's going to corner, I would imagine, much easier and faster than the RS model would. Something else to note, you also get 2 seat options, I guess, with the bike. Not really seat options, but it comes with a rear cowl that's color matched, and then a pillion seat as well. So if you want to take a passenger, you can, but on a bike like this, I highly recommend against it.
And speaking of colors, there's going to be 2 colors when it launches. It's going to be Red Hopper and Storm Gray. And that Storm Gray is pretty light. It almost looks a bit more like a white.
Yeah, it definitely has some white in there, but there's a cool bronze or gold accent that goes through it. It's a pretty sharp looking bike.
That's one of my favorite things about Triumph is all of the products that we interact with from them. They're all really nicely put together. They look phenomenal. I don't really see a lot of bad looking Triumphs, especially in terms of their fit and finish.
No, and this one is no exception. I mean, that front end looks pretty cool. It's even TFL colors with the red and black too, and the one they're showing here.
Ooh,
so
represent.
Yep. What are we looking at for pricing?
So pricing is a little tough. It's $20,950 for the Speed Triple RR, which is that's a good bit more than the Speed Triple RS. Speed Triple RS is $18,500. So yeah, $20,950. It's not a cheap bike, but at the same time, you're getting very sophisticated suspension. You're getting a great chassis. You're getting a really powerful engine, a beautifully built bike. So it makes sense, but it's still a little heartbreaking.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be really, really excited about this bike. It looks cool. It has a really good motor in it that's been improved since the outgoing generation, and just a really cool concept, making kind of a half-faired street motorcycle that has a little bit of retro thrown into it, as you would expect from Triumph. Super, super cool. I know there's going to be some people that say, I want, 600, 700-ish cc Daytona, or maybe they should have even brought out the Daytona name for this bike. There's going to be a lot of varying opinions on that. I know also a lot of people are going to say, yeah, 177 horsepower and a bike that's over $20,000 might not have what it takes to compete against bikes that have, 200 horsepower, Panigale V4s, R1Ms. But I still think for the right person, this is kind of a different bike. You're buying into the premium aspect of this bike. You're buying into the style. And you're just buying into a well put together motorcycle, which is something you might not be able to say about some of the other competitors.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just pure function. These bikes are really, really beautifully built. So to go interact with them is more interesting than even just pure functionality. These are also going to be available in January of 2022. So coming up around the corner, and we're hoping that we can get our hands on one, because that would be fun. I know you would enjoy that a lot.
I would love to get on one of these. January 22 sounds way further away than it is, actually.
That's not that far away.
It's like 3 months away. So yeah, you could get on one of these pretty soon. Hopefully we can get some seat time on one so we can bring you guys some coverage. But let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of this bike? And do you think the other manufacturers should be making naked sport bikes with a front fairing?
I think so.
I think so too. Anyway, guys, head on over to tfl-studios.com so you don't miss any of the TFL content. We'll catch you in the next video.